Trump seeks resolution of his $10 lawsuit against IRS, spurring concern. Critics warn that the U.S. president could arrange his own settlement by negotiating with the Justice Department under his control. Court filings have indicated that lawyers for President Donald Trump are seeking a resolution with the Department of Justice over a $10 lawsuit he filed against the Internal Revenue Service (IRS). But the trouble, critics say, is that such a settlement would leave Trump essentially negotiating with an executive branch under his control. Friday's court filing, however, emphasizes the efficiency of seeking a settlement. In the document, Trump's lawyers call for the case to be paused for 90 days to allow a resolution to be hammered out. This limited pause will neither prejudice the parties nor delay ultimate resolution, the filing says. Rather, the extension will promote judicial economy and allow the parties to explore avenues that could narrow or resolve the issues efficiently. How did the case start? The case stems from an incident that began in 2017, when a worker named Charles Chaz Littlejohn was rehired as a contractor through the government consulting firm Booz Allen. While working on IRS files, Littlejohn stole copies of Trump's tax returns, which had been the source of prolonged public scrutiny. Until Trump, every president since Richard Nixon had released their tax returns as a gesture of transparency. Trump, however, claimed he could not, citing ongoing audits. The tax returns Littlejohn stole were ultimately released to the media, and in 2020, the New York Times released a series of articles that showed Trump paid no income taxes in 10 of the 15 preceding years. Other years, he paid relatively small sums like $750 because he reported more losses than gains. ProPublica also ran stories based on the leaked tax returns, highlighting inconsistencies and Trump's low tax payments. Advertisement privacy law protects taxpayer information from being released by the IRS without explicit permission. Littlejohn was sentenced to 5 years imprisoned in 2024, but in late January of this year, Trump filed a lawsuit arguing that he, his businesses, and his sons Eric and Donald Jr. had suffered significant and irreparable harm from the leaks. The defendants in the lawsuit were the IRS and its overseeing body, the Treasury Department, both of which are part of the executive branch. Defendants have caused plaintiffs reputational and financial harm, public embarrassment, unfairly tarnished their business reputations, portrayed them in a false light, and negatively affected President Trump and the other plaintiffs' public standing, the lawsuit reads. Questions of ethics and legality, but experts have warned that the lawsuit contains flaws that would normally prompt the Justice Department, also under Trump's control, to seek dismissal. The lawsuit, for instance, arrives at its whopping $10 sum by supposedly tallying up media references to Trump's leaked tax returns. However, experts say the formula for damages is calculated by the number of unauthorized disclosures by a government employee, not by media reprintings. Then there is the question of Littlejohn's employment status. He was an outside contractor, not a government employee. Trump also has to contend with the 2-year statute of limitations in the case. The lawsuit contends that President Trump did not discover the numerous violations of his tax returns until January 29, 2024. But critics point out he had posted on social media about his tax information being illegally obtained as far back as 2020, when the New York Times published its series. Opponents say the lawsuit should be dismissed or at least delayed until Trump is no longer president. Otherwise, they argue it represents a conflict of interest, with Trump fundamentally negotiating with his own administration for a payout. Controlling both sides of the litigation, Trump himself has acknowledged that such a payment would never look good, but he has justified the sum by saying it would be donated to charity.